Welcome to Live Breathe Film, episode 68. You're here with Corey, Doug, and Murph. Thanks as always for joining us. Today we're going to briefly talk about some recent releases in pop culture that we've been enjoying, such as Top Gun Maverick, and then we're also going to review where we're at in our summer box office pool. We'll get right down to the nitty-gritty fun stuff, which are tons of movies, trailers, TV shows we've been watching lately. Why don't we just get straight into the most ridiculous one, which was Morbius, Jared Leto's opus to vampireism. Doug, when are you going to watch it so then we can all talk about it, first of all? Because this is one it's going to be fun to talk about with you.
I didn't get the memo that everyone was watching it, or I would have found a way to watch it.
It's on Plex, so you should definitely watch it.
Okay. Yeah, but I guess the first thing I'll say is it wasn't as bad as I was expecting.
I agree with Murph on that
Based on everything I heard, I was expecting for the worst piece of shit in the world. Mm-hmm. And it's definitely not a well-made movie, but it recycles so many beats from movies you've already seen that it's impossible to be fully bad. You've just seen it done way better plenty of times before. But I mean, it's telling for the most part, a tried and true type of story, where in that regard, they didn't fully fail. It was fucking really stupid though. The best part is they decided to go really campy with Matt Smith's character, and you wouldn't get it from the trailers because they really don't show him at all. But he's he's the antagonist to Jared Leto in the film. They both start out the movie with some illness where they're going to die fairly young. I guess when they're in their 30s, 40s, and then they get the vampire stuff that makes them live longer, but they have to figure out how to have blood and everything like that. But for some reason, they just decide to have Matt Smith dance a lot in this movie, and it gets really fucking cheesy. We were watching it, it was the best because Corey was on his phone playing around, and while he's on his phone playing around, he's like, I'm liking this Matt Smith performance though. And then we're like, Corey, look up. It's Matt Smith dancing in the
he's doing the moonwalk,
the goofiest fucking way for no reason at all. It's Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3. And we're just really? You want to retract what you just said? And that was the first of a bunch of dances that he has in the film. They make fun of it on the Honest trailer also. And yeah, I didn't get that choice. Didn't feel like it fit into the rest of the movie at all. Because it tries to go for a serious tone, for the most part. And then it just has other parts that are just absurdly campy. And it really did feel like it was made in 2003. If it came out the same year as Daredevil, and some of those other ones around then, Ang Lee's Hulk, we would have been oh, this is a pretty good superhero movie. But now it's it's pretty bad. But
it was painfully generic.
Yeah.
Painfully. And I don't know. I mean, the performances were decent for the most part. I mean, Matt Smith, other than his dancing, I thought he was good. He played the campy, ridiculous villain from an early 2000s movie. That's probably exactly what he tried to do. And Leto was fine.
Leto.
Yeah, he was Jared Leto. Everyone else it was so funny. The supporting cast was non-existent. They didn't do anything.
There was a much longer cut of that movie.
Yeah,
and they cut all the supporting characters out. Tyrese by far the most. I didn't even understand why he was in the movie. He had so little to do. Apparently, in the trailer for the movie, he had a metal arm. They just got rid of that for the actual film.
Wait, Tyrese had a metal arm?
Yeah, this was something I didn't realize until the Honest trailer. He didn't have a metal arm in the movie, but I guess in the trailer he did. And the Michael Keaton stuff was so bad.
Yeah. And they cut a lot of it too.
I've seen that. I've seen the Keaton, or I've at least seen the after credits Keaton stuff.
where
in the movie?
where he's dressed like Vulture.
Yeah,
That one
Okay.
I saw. Yeah, I watched that.
The other one,
I
where
saw
he's
both of those.
okay, you saw both of them. Oh,
Yeah.
they're so bad.
They're so bad.
He just like pops up and he's just like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Spider-Man must be behind this.
Yeah.
It
And then the news report, and they're like, I don't know, he
This
randomly
man
appeared in
just-
this jail
yeah.
cell. Like, guess we gotta let him
we're
out.
gonna have to let him go. because we
They're
don't
like,
know who
they're
he
like
is.
Adrian Toombs is somehow miraculously appears inside a prison cell. We're just gonna let him go.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean every time Sony does something that makes me like, they're like getting their act together, and then they do something like Morbius, where it's like, nope, they are doing their own fucking weird world that they don't have any idea what they're actually planning.
I don't understand what the point was of that movie. And it really it makes me equally scared and excited for their Madam Web crap that they're doing, because no one wants that. But like all of their standalone shit that they're going to be doing over the
Kraven
next
is
couple years,
coming.
I have a feeling those movies are going to be just as bad, or if not worse.
Yeah, I think Craven actually has some talent like behind the scenes,
Yeah,
so maybe it won't be truly terrible.
I
But
would
like,
hope.
I'm totally getting like it'll probably end up being like a Ghost Rider like type
Yeah.
like movie that barely makes like doesn't make that much money.
I like
Granted,
the
give it a
cast.
sequel. And Madam Web's probably gonna be like fucking the Elektra or like Catwoman of this like
that.
generation. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure like some people want it, but like if you poll 9 out of 10 people, they don't want it. But they're happening because Sony's got to milk that IP as much as humanly possible, which is stupid considering they've got plenty of other hits like outside of like embarrassing themselves with these Marvel movies. Like in the past 2 years, what they have: Bad Boys, Ghostbusters, Jumanji, Uncharted. Like they've got plenty of hits like outside of Spider-Man and Venom. So like they probably shouldn't tarnish the brand as much as they're doing.
Do we think that that they're going to renew that agreement with Disney, with Marvel, or probably not? Like the Spider-Man thing.
Yeah, I think they
How
will.
could you not? They made so much friggin' money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they'll be down they'll renew for I guess another trilogy and a couple other Tom Holland appearing in a couple other MCU movies during that
When is
time
that?
frame.
When is that up? 2 years from now or next year? Soon, isn't it?
He only has one movie left on his deal with where he can appear in an MCU movie.
Okay, so he has one appearance, and then
that's it right now. He's got no
Okay,
Spider-Man movies, and that's the end of the Disney Sony deal.
So then they should be
So
renewing.
they need to
that
renew
too.
with renew with Tom Holland, and they need to renew with Disney.
Yeah, they're gonna have.
I
Tom
imagine
Holland
they would do
is
both
gonna-
of those at the same time.
Yeah, he's gonna get
Holland-
bank.
Yeah, he's gonna make so much fucking money off of this deal.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, he's
so
he's the
much.
face of the MCU at this point.
Yeah.
So like he's gonna make bank, and he will definitely demand that they work with Disney
Yep.
because he knows like that's where the success is.
He
Like,
saw
the two of them
Morbius
working
and
together.
sees what happens when Sony works alone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, he just pulls up on his phone Morbius and goes, "This is why we're working with Disney." And on my other phone, Venom. We're working with Disney. So yeah, we're totally safe. It just comes down to them making the deal and giving him a fucking fortune because he's gonna re-up. It just comes down to he's playing hardball and like just saying like, "Oh, I don't know, like gotta like think about it and stuff." No, you know exactly what you're doing. You're trying to get as much money as humanly possible out of this deal because then you can do whatever you want for the rest of your career.
Yeah, his agent's probably like, "No, you're gonna hold out. You gotta play hardball."
Yeah,
I mean, after how much?
Oh yeah,
money
and he's
No
got
Way Home
Uncharted
made,
too.
yeah, he's gonna make tons of money on Uncharted sequels also
Yeah, forgot about that.
because
What's
I
that?
mean he's Sony's golden goose right now.
Yeah. What's that, Doug? What were you gonna say?
I was just saying, after how much money No Way Home made. I mean,
Yeah.
made is this right? $1.893 billion.
Yep, worldwide.
I never would.
that was
have
without
expected
China.
That,
That was without China.
never would have expected that to be the case. But that's insane.
You throw China in the mix, it's like the third biggest movie of all time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And
what was it? Fourth or fifth?
I don't know where it ranks, but yeah, I mean, a lot of times you've got China involved, so yeah, I mean that would have been
Probably close to 2 billion.
Yeah, probably close to 2
No,
billion.
it'd be well over
Or-
2 billion. Well
Yeah.
over 2 billion. It would be probably 2.2 billion.
That's nuts.
I could definitely see it making 400 million in China. I'm looking
Oh.
at worldwide, like the biggest movies.
Sony
So
even
Spider-Man is it's the sixth biggest worldwide. It would have been probably third biggest worldwide, or probably third biggest worldwide under Endgame and Avatar.
Sony still has, and now like with Amazing Spider-Man and with like Spider-Man, like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, I wouldn't be surprised if they do at least another movie with those two guys.
Yeah, that's what
Well.
they should be focusing on now instead of like making all these fucking dumb spinoffs. Is like make a Spider-Man 4 with Sam Raimi and make a Amazing Spider-Man 3. And don't
Garfield.
focus on just trying to build up the Sinister Six. Stop that.
Just make a standalone film.
We don't need that. Like you already kind of did it with No Way Home.
Yeah.
And you're not going to top that. So like stop trying to make Morbius and Vulture and Sinister Six happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like they made that fucking mistake already with Amazing Spider-Man 2. Maybe they could have made a good movie if they didn't focus on trying to build this world and copying the MCU.
There's aspects of that movie that I enjoyed, but as a whole, the script was a mess.
Yeah.
I'll watch it at some point just so I can watch the honest trailer and laugh.
There you go. Catch up on Morbius. We'll talk about it again after you see it. But Doug, I want to talk with you, pivoting to TV, about Better Call Saul. Corey, you're going to have to decide how much spoilers you want to hear.
You don't want to hear this spoiler.
I'm gonna mute and I'll be back.
Sounds good.
Can we throw up a spoiler tag? We still can't do that, can we?
I mean, we could put a comment on Twitch that says spoiler. Like talking spoilers.
Yeah, can someone throw a comment just when we start and when we stop?
Just
I
throw it
mean,
up
I can change the title. Add spoilers.
Well, if someone wanted to leave, I think it's just Derek. But if Derek wanted to leave and come back,
Eric's seen the episode already, so
okay.
we don't have to worry about that.
Do we have anyone else on Twitch?
Me.
Okay. All right, don't forget.
I've seen it as well.
All right, all of our Twitch viewers have seen Better Call Saul.
And honestly, it's been 48 hours. At this point, you probably should have seen it already.
All right, Corey, let me know when you're.
By the time this is on YouTube, it'll have been like 2 weeks after. So
I'm trying to do something, trying to add a like a banner. So you guys can start. I'm not listening after now.
holy fuck, what an episode!
Are we just talking about the episode?
I mean, we could talk. All right, yeah, we can talk.
Yeah,
about
let's just talk about the episode. We'll do a finale, or we'll do a series finale where we just kind of break down the whole thing.
And we can obviously, if there's anything that goes into the rest of the first half of the season, we can talk about it. Like, but yeah, the finale was the real highlight that makes sense to talk about. How much did this hit you by surprise? The ending.
Well, I didn't see the Instagram post Twitter post from Bob Odenkirk, thankfully.
Yeah,
so,
thank God.
That didn't ruin it for me. But I kind of thought he was gonna die, and we're in spoiler talk territory now. But I kind of thought Howard was gonna die. At least when he got to the apartment. When he showed up at the apartment, I was like, I don't know, this doesn't feel good. I think probably because the last time like a scene was shot the way that scene was shot is when Lalo showed up.
Yeah.
So it just kind of like it felt at that point it started to feel like, all right, Howard may not be long for this world.
We should have seen it coming too. Like the amount of screen time he got during this half season. That they actually for once started to show like his home life, and especially when he goes, oh, I know I'm gonna bounce back from this. Like,
Yeah.
like that is like the sign that someone is going to fucking die on a television show.
Especially when he was talking about how like, yeah, I can get through this, like I get
Yeah,
through everything and I'm gonna ruin your life. It was
yeah.
like,
We know it. He doesn't.
no, he doesn't.
Yeah,
So it's probably not great for Howard. And yeah, they showed his marriage earlier in the season,
yep.
um, and without like making it explicit, but it was still pretty obvious. You could tell like his marriage like wasn't in a good place.
Yeah, his marriage was basically in name only.
The What do you think of the plan? The fact that basically we've been watching the entire plan play out over the course of the season. Did you think like
It was fucking well executed. They got me with the PI. That was the big thing that they got me with. Um, like
yeah, they didn't show
I
us that.
Yeah, when we had talked earlier this season, I had said I thought Howard was going to die, like because he was going to start like sniffing in too much into Jimmy's life, and like by having a PI. So I was wrong about that. The writers are way smarter than I am, because this was way better. But yeah, I didn't see that coming with the PI being on Jimmy's side. Probably should have. Um,
Yeah, I was wondering how the pictures were going to come into
the
play.
Yeah, the
And
having the
it
two
didn't become
groups of
clear until the
pictures.
PI like shows the where
Uh,
he hands off the pictures to the PI, and you're like, oh,
yeah.
that's what the play is.
When did you realize he was drugged?
Um, Pretty much
I
right away.
I realized the moment he was like he asked if it was like hot in there. When he was
Yeah,
like trying to put like give a blanket to the older woman, who was like all the way back. That was like Jimmy's first client, on the show back at was Sandpiper.
Sandpiper.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, so like they've gone all the way back to season one with a lot of things this season. But yeah, that's when I was like, oh shit! Like they got him with getting them all drugged up, and I did like how like Howard realized everything, but it just sounded so ridiculous that like it didn't matter. Because it showed like he like is smart and like, but he was just in so deep at that point, like it didn't matter.
Yeah. Well, I guess what was smart about the Jimmy and Kim's plan. And it's funny that like even now, I don't think of Odenkirk's character as Saul. I still like it's Jimmy.
Oh yeah, he's Jimmy.
Uh,
6 episodes ago, he's still Jimmy.
yeah. Um, what was I saying?
Um,
Oh, I thought it was smart of Kim and Jimmy to basically ruin Howard's credibility beforehand.
yeah,
So even though like Howard figured it out, his credibility was so tarnished by that point that he just sounded completely crazy.
and
And
the
then they,
thing
on
is,
top of that, drugged him and made his pupils dilated. And
yeah, but the thing is though, like Cliff seemed to still somewhat believe him. Like he's just like it's too late at this point. Like we're so beyond fucked, like with this negotiation that we don't have a choice but to like make the deal. Um,
I didn't understand why they were fucked, but I just let it go. Like
yeah,
they had a good case. They had a good case. Like it doesn't matter that like Howard like had a would appear to be a breakdown.
yeah, exactly.
So I don't know, but
Yeah,
whatever.
you're accusing your mediator of being somebody who looks completely different in the photos, and oh man, they got him so good. But yeah, I didn't see the death coming like in that episode. I was so invested in like him just giving like dressing them down, like
Yeah,
in that argument that I did not see it coming. And
that
then
was a
when
great that was a great moment for the actor. I can't remember his name at the moment, but the actor that plays Howard,
yeah,
to just like have a really
Patrick
great,
Fabian.
yeah, Patrick Fabian, just have a really great scene on that show. I think that was one of his best, if not his best scene on
Yeah,
the
to have his
show.
best scene be his last scene. Like
Yeah,
he was not someone I would have thought would have been on the entirety of the show, like when the show started. Like I would have thought Chuck would have been on it way longer than like Howard, or like once like Kim and Jimmy didn't work at HHM anymore, he would have been like eliminated from the show.
But what I liked about Howard, and I'm glad that they kept Howard over Chuck, is like Chuck was like an asshole,
Yeah,
and Howard always seemed like
Howard,
he was relatively like a good guy.
yeah, he didn't deserve what he got at all.
Yeah, I mean like he was a little douchey, but like overall a good person, and like tried to do right by Jimmy.
Yeah, tried to do right by Jimmy, like tried to do right by Kim, like yeah,
Yeah,
like he was a little, it's like at some points he was a little hard on Kim, and everything with Jimmy was only because of um, Jimmy's brother, that he like had to be the fucking tough guy to hide the fact that Jimmy's brother was screwing him over left and right. Um,
yeah,
but man, yeah, he did not deserve what he got. Even
yeah.
before he died, he did not deserve what he got.
No, he definitely didn't. He was definitely seemed like a good person. I think as far as so we had two big deaths this season
Yes.
with Nacho and Howard. I thought Nacho also had Michael Mann, right?
Yeah,
That's his name,
Michael Mando.
Mando, not the director, Michael Mann.
Yes.
Um, I thought he also had like one of his best scenes with his death. So I think they really gave both those actors really great death scenes, which I was very happy about.
It goes back to Breaking Bad too. Like everyone goes out in style on the show. Like you look at Giancarlo Esposito's like final episode, Mark Margolis's, who plays Hector Salamanca. Like the two of them went out in the same episode, and that was fucking incredible. And the Face Off episode. Then you've got Dean Norris went out in incredible
That
fashion.
was such a great way that he went out.
Oh, yeah. Hank goes out like a total badass. I mean, obviously Bryan Cranston, every episode was a highlight for him, but he went out in guns a-blazing. Like, what an awesome ending for him and Breaking Bad as a whole. So, like, yeah, everyone on both shows just seemed their last episode, they make sure they send them off right.
It's cool too. You had kind of brought it up earlier, but the fact that they do really tie this back to the first season, these later episodes with the whole Sandpiper case and
yep, the Kettleman is earlier this season.
Yeah, so that's been a nice touch that they found a way to kind of go full circle with the show.
Yeah, because when the show started, everyone was like, "Oh, well, like not enough cartel stuff. Like, what does this have to do with anything?" And like people didn't really seem to get into it like until like Gus appeared on the show, and that's when it seemed like more people. It was easier to get more people to watch the show. But yeah, I mean, it just shows like everything fucking mattered on this thing, and like it's definitely paying off better for the people who've watched it since episode 1 than people who have tuned in at season 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah, and it's probably better. Like I haven't gone back and watched any of the older episodes, but it's probably going to be really good to just watch everything straight through.
Yeah. Oh, Jonathan Banks also, he got a great final episode as well. One that really focused on him. So, yeah, I mean, if we're talking deaths, we got 6 episodes to go. The only characters left that can die, well, we got Lalo, Kim in the pre-Breaking Bad world. And then we've got Gene / Saul / Jimmy in the Omaha post Breaking Bad world. Well, who do you think? What do you see happening to these 3 in the final 6 episodes?
I don't think Kim dies. Not really sure what happens to Kim. She seems like if you say Better Call Saul is a Breaking Bad show, it seems like Kim's really the Walter White Breaking Bad character, not Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like I don't know. The more
Jimmy's turning into the Jesse, who's just like going along with all the fucking bad plan.
Yeah, the more I see the show play out, the more I think that Jimmy is always Jimmy. Like he's not going to have a Breaking Bad moment where he becomes like Walter White. Like,
No, I mean
so
he's like if you go back to Breaking Bad, like he's not a tough guy at all. Like,
yeah,
yeah, he talks tough, but like when he gets confronted, he backs down from everyone. Jesse beats him up. Walt and Tim scares the shit out of him on multiple occasions. Like,
yeah. So I
he,
think maybe that they're just gonna be like Saul Goodman was more of a front than anything,
yeah,
and really the Kim's the character that has really. She seems like at this point she's pushing Jimmy to do worse things than Jimmy would do on his own.
oh, Jimmy was fucking more upset about everything going on in that Howard scene than Kim was. When Howard's talking about how he's getting divorced or how he's like in therapy and like how everything's going rough at home, you see Jimmy like as the one looking over at Kim, like feeling like oh shit, like what did we do? Like, and then
Yeah,
he, there were both of their reactions when Lalo comes in and when Lalo shoots Howard. My God.
yeah. I think so. I think Kim lives. I was really thinking Lalo dies, but I talked to a friend that made a good argument for Lalo potentially still being alive, even in the Breaking Bad, and just
Yeah.
kind of in hiding or wherever he may be. Um, and the fact that Lalo didn't go guns a blazing, and they teased that he was going to, and then
Yeah. It,
he went with a different plan, which kind of made me feel like the writers thought about having him go out like that and decide to steer away from it, and you saw that play out on the show. So I'm kind of conflicted about Lalo. Like, I could see him dying because he's not in Breaking Bad, obviously, and there's no indication that he's he's alive. There's no real presence to him at all in Breaking Bad. He's just, I think there's a line about him in one of the episodes.
yes, in the Saul's first episode.
Um, so I'm
But there
kind
was
of
also a
conflicted.
line about Nacho, and Nacho's dead.
Yeah. So I'm kind of conflicted. I still want to lean towards him dying, I think. Um, and who else is there?
Yeah, because I mean, Gus says on Breaking Bad that all the Salamancas are dead and things like that. But
Although
the
it's
writers are
possible
so
that,
fucking clever, and like,
yeah,
there's going
because
to be
Gus
more
could,
surprises.
yeah, there was just like, I don't know. I don't want to like say some of the theories that I've heard from my friend
Yeah, I
because
don't need to
I
hear
don't want it to
them
be, I
either.
don't want him to be right, but it just, it's possible that, Gus thinks he's dead, but he's not really dead.
Hmm.
Um, so that would be an interesting play, but I still lean towards him dying, but and then who else is there?
And then there's Gene,
Gene.
who we haven't gotten a sight of yet this season.
Yeah, I don't see Gene dying. I think he's gonna have an ending, potentially with Kim in it.
It's possible.
Yeah, I think they're gonna close the chapter on Gene in a way that's somewhat happy.
Yeah, like somewhat redemptive even.
Yeah, I really and kind of. Well, what do you think? Who do you think's gonna die? And then
I don't think any
I
of
have a
them are
question
gonna die.
for you.
I don't think any of them are gonna die. I think they've killed too many people already.
The
And
Lalo surviving is really interesting if the writers go that route.
I think they're gonna figure out a smart way for him to live, and maybe bring him into the end game of the show. But the fact, like, there's going to be surprises. It'd be so, like, it makes sense for him to die, and I could definitely see Gus killing him, like in the super lab or something like that. But it just seems like that's so too much of the obvious play, and
Yeah, now he's enlisted Jimmy and Kim, who are gonna. It makes you think that Lalo on his own would do the. I'm just gonna go in and attack, but now that he's got Jimmy and Kim enlisted, they're gonna do something clever.
yeah,
Um, so the fact that he's teaming up with them now, I think, could help him survive
Mm-hmm.
because they could
Like
come up with a plan.
Jimmy could fucking end up finding out about the super lab through this, and that's how he fucking introduces Walt to Gus on Breaking Bad. Um, I don't know. There's a lot they can do, and I know Peter Gould was said basically like the last 6 episodes, like he considers them like one big series finale. I know Vince Gilligan has said like expectations are that this is going to people are going to like the ending, the Better Call Saul, more than they like the Breaking Bad ending. So I'm just super hyped to see how they end it.
Yeah, so there's talk of people are saying that an episode or more could be taking place during the Breaking Bad timeline.
Yeah,
Do you buy that? And if you do, regardless, do you want it to take place, any of the 6 episodes to take place during the Breaking Bad timeline?
I guess I do, but I don't. Like I'd be perfectly happy spending time in the current timeline for as long as possible because
Yeah.
it's so enjoyable. But it also would be a blast to see like a decent amount of Walt, Jesse, and Saul together, and seeing Saul's like POV during the Breaking Bad era. Potentially, you could have him with Kim together at this point, and Kim could be giving Saul advice. It could be pretty interesting seeing that dynamic, where she's clearly like the brains behind the whole Heisenberg operation. Um, that would be
Yeah,
pretty.
that's definitely a theory I've had where that if Kim's still alive, that Kim's running everything and Saul's
Yeah,
just kind of the front man.
yeah. Um, I would like Walt and Jesse to be more than like a little scene. Um, so I don't know. It really comes down to when are they going to wrap up the Lalo Gus story? Like, because once that happens, then I think you're at the point where you can go into the Breaking Bad timeline and go into the Gene stuff, because that really wraps up the story
It's
that they've
definitely
been telling over 6 seasons.
yeah, I think it's the thing I'm the least interested in seeing.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's done well, I wouldn't want it to be more than an episode. An episode even seems like a lot for
It'll
when
be
we
the
have
Vin.
6 episodes.
Then it would likely be the second to last episode, and which is Vince Gilligan's episode.
That's actually a really good
Um,
potential that it is Vince Gilligan's episode.
and then Peter Gould does the finale in Nebraska. Maybe it bookends with some like a Jimmy flashback at some point. Maybe the majority of the episode takes place like in black and white, and then the final scene flashes us back to some point in the when Jimmy was Jimmy. I don't know. Kind of
Yeah,
the opposite of every other season, which starts with one scene with in black and white, and then goes to color. Kind of does the opposite.
that would be
Um,
cool. That'd be a neat touch. Yeah, I mean, I think I care most about getting a satisfying conclusion in the current timeline.
yeah,
And then I really want to after that, then I really want to see the Gene stuff wrap up nicely. And then to me, it's just like a cherry on top if they can do something. They can do both of those things and then give us a Breaking Bad episode from Saul's perspective.
yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Definitely, the wrapping up the 6 seasons is the most important to me because I care the most about Jimmy more than I care about Gene or Saul. Um, and I obviously care about all these other characters that have been on the show. And I think they need to do more with Mike in the final 6 episodes. He's been getting the short end of the stick for this first half of the season.
Yeah.
And he's basically the co-lead of the show. So I imagine he's going to get a lot to do in the last 6. But yeah, I mean, the lawyer side of the show is basically wrapped up at this point. So it really comes down to the cartel side of things.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, the more we get closer to Breaking Bad, the more the cartel should be involved in the story. And that's exactly the way things are playing out. It's incremental throughout the entire show. And now we're like finally at that point where it's taken over.
Is Howard's dad still alive, or is all of HHM
All of HHM are
or
dead.
deceased? The HH and the M
Yeah.
are all dead.
Who knows if HHM is even a thing when the Breaking Bad world when Breaking Bad begins.
Yeah.
Because they really didn't show any other partners on that show other than Chuck and Howard.
Yeah. And they have she's not a partner, but I think she's an intern or attorney or the girl from Mythic Quest, the one from Mythic Quest.
Oh, she works at Maine.
Oh, that's right. She's at Maine.
Yeah.
Because what's his face was.
Yeah, Jimmy worked there with her.
Yeah, very
and she
briefly.
couldn't stand Jimmy.
Oh man.
All right. Well, we got 6 weeks to go till the next episode. Trying to get Corey to watch it. I think we need to be a united front on this. Get him to watch the next 2 seasons or the 5 seasons that he's missed so far, and then we can talk about the final 6 episodes together, because this is wrapping up like 15 years of amazing television. Who knows if we're ever going to get anything in the Heisenberg verse ever again after this, but
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think we'll probably do a whole episode that's just the series finale. Better Call Saul.
Yeah, we'll get some special guests on for that episode. The more the merrier of our Better Call Saul viewers. Having them on this one, having them on that one to discuss will be a lot of fun. And I'm definitely going to go back and watch the show like again after like the whole thing wraps up. Because like you said kind of quickly at one point that you imagine the earlier seasons will play even better once the whole thing wraps up.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. Especially because everything ties together so nicely.
And it's going to be fun having the Better Call Saul versus Breaking Bad debate once we have a complete television show. Because I've been saying it the last few seasons, like it is shockingly close to as good as Breaking Bad. It might be executed better.
The only thing I could see where someone may like Breaking Bad better is, well, one, if they really like the Walter White character. And 2, there's a lot more like if you're looking for like heart pounding scenes and action and all that, it's definitely more Breaking Bad.
Totally. Yeah, it's a much more intense
visceral
show overall. Like Better Call Saul has its moments where it gets to that level, but they're much more few and far between than Breaking Bad was.
Yeah. So that's the only thing. But as far as like the writing and acting and everything, I mean, it's just as good, if not better, in my eyes.
Yeah. All right. Well, we need Corey to come back to get to the next piece of entertainment. So, where is he? Is he watching on Twitch? Like he just jumped off our broadcast. So give him a minute. Well, I guess while we're waiting, I'll mention another show that's almost wrapping up. And that's Atlanta. Season 3 just ended. They've already filmed season 4, which is going to be its final season. That comes out later this year. This is one that you guys got to get on board eventually. It is just so much different than like the rest of the shows on television. It's like surreal, but like also realistic to like a crazy degree. It's just incredibly unique. This last season, it was very standalone. Basically everything with the main 4 characters took place in Europe, with each episode not really having any sort of a storyline that was the backbone of it. It was basically just adventures in Europe. And then like half the season was like anthology episodes where none of the main actors were in it at all, and it was telling just standalone episodes. So it was, I didn't read too much of what people were saying online, but I imagine it was somewhat divisive just because people were expecting to be seeing Donald Glover and the rest of the gang. on every single episode since they've been waiting like 4 years for this latest season, and they did not get that. But I thought it was a really satisfying season, and the standalone stories were all very engaging. But it looks like the final season will be back in Atlanta. It's just about whether they're gonna really focus on telling like one final story for everyone, or if it's just gonna sort of be like these loosely connected individual stories. But do you guys have any interest in eventually catching up on this one?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do
definitely.
too.
It's high on my list, but just haven't gotten around to it. Yeah.
Doug, what did you say?
I was saying, I have an interest too. I actually saw the first episode.
Oh, you did way back in 2016. I'm guessing.
No, I actually saw it like
Oh.
maybe a year ago.
Oh, okay.
Because I was interested in checking it out, and it was fine. Like the first episode was fine, and intrigued me, but obviously I got distracted by other things, and
Yeah.
it didn't hook me where I was like, I need to keep watching the show. I'm guessing it takes a couple
I mean,
episodes.
it evolves into something so much different than like the way it started in season 1. Like when the show started, it seemed like they were telling like a story, and it sort of just goes off into its own little like off the beaten trail for the majority of the episodes, where it's just doing its own thing and telling whatever type of story it wants to tell, whether it wants to be like a horror movie or a hilarious episode or something that is like not remotely funny and just serious. Like it does whatever Donald Glover, Stephen Glover, and Hiro Murai and the people behind the scenes want to do, which is pretty cool. Like it's completely creator driven, and isn't focused on telling like a story. So I would say, yeah, like it's tough. Hopefully you find an episode that you really dig, like in those first bunch that really gets you into it. You probably will. But it's a show where I couldn't tell you what next week is going to be like, because it's going to be completely different than anything we've likely seen before. Like this past season had like Liam Neeson in an episode, Alexander Skarsgård in an episode, both of them playing themselves in like very ridiculous. Well, the Liam Neeson one kind of dealt with issues that he's had like in the cancel culture like world, and then Alexander Skarsgård just plays like a ridiculous version of himself. But yeah, it's unique is the best word to put it.
It's funny because I remember you telling me, it was either you, I think it was you, that people are saying that it's like Twin Peaks with rappers.
Yeah, I think Derek was.
There was
saying
one
that.
comparison, which based on how
someone said that fair like the last week or so.
Yeah.
I think it was Derek.
And based on how you just described it, I was like, this kind of does sound exactly like that. Like, so.
Yeah. And I mean, it's always funny to a degree, just because like they'll throw in something that's so absurd that like you can't help but laugh, even if it's telling like a serious story. But it has no qualms with doing things that are just completely outside reality, which makes it, again, something that's going to surprise you, because it just doesn't give a fuck about the rules. So I'd say catch up on it before season 4. It'll likely premiere later this year or the very beginning of next year on FX. I mean, all the episodes are on Hulu, so it's not something that's hard to watch. And again, they're like 30-minute episodes, so only 3 seasons. You could bang it out easily in a month.
Cool. Definitely.
And then Corey, you just caught up on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, another creator-driven series where they just tell the stories that they want to tell, and to riotous effect pretty much every single time.
Yeah, this was bittersweet because like we've been watching this for like so many months now, like just trying to catch up, that like now I don't have it anymore to watch like new episodes, so I have to find something else to fill the routine. But as a whole, I really did I did like this season a lot. Mostly because it, instead of having like the Seinfeld type of sitcom, contained stories in each episode type of thing. The whole season was generally a one contained story, like throughout the whole season, which I thought was really cool. They had a storyline that they wanted to pitch and they wanted to do from beginning to end, so they did that across the 10 episodes, and I that was like really refreshing the way they did that. Still was Always Sunny in Philadelphia, same type of humor. Um, Definitely wasn't as I don't think it was as outlandish as it was in the past, but it still had like the really great writing and
The
great
only thing
comedy.
that was really outlandish was Dennis's COVID.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Oh yeah,
Like they hit all like the really, and they've done this so many times. Like they touch upon um those like really important subjects at the time that a lot of people like they don't want to talk about it because it's going to rile people up, and they do it in such a way where it's just so funny. Like they're just such great writers, and um I really liked them going to Ireland. I thought that was great. They continued to uh expand on each character, which I thought was really really cool. Like Charlie really grew as a character. Like they do, it's so weird. They have these moments.
yeah, they grow in the most incremental way
Yeah.
possible.
But then they have these moments where like they're like really serious and like really like powerful acting moments in some of these seasons. Like they've done it a few times. They did it like with Mac, with his dad. They do it with Charlie, like, when he's finally, coming to terms with like his, with his dad and stuff. Uh, those moments are like really cool because they come out of nowhere. You don't really expect it. So, but as a whole, I really did enjoy it. Probably one of my more, I wouldn't say one of my favorite seasons, but definitely up there. Uh, Especially compared to 13 and 14, which I was kind of lukewarm about. 14 was better, still funny, but it was not one of my favorites. And 13, I didn't really care for too much. So I'm excited to see what they do next. I hope they continue doing this where they have like these storylines, these overarching storylines for a season, and they do something different each season. You're muted, Murph.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
I thought the serialized storytelling worked wonders for them this season, and like the episodes that were serialized worked a ton better than the standalone episodes for this latest season. I know South Park's gotten like a very serialized in its later seasons, and people haven't loved that. But the Ireland episodes of Sunny were some of the best stuff they've done in a long time. So I would not mind if they continue going in this format when they have a longer form story to tell. As long as they have the story, fucking do it again. I'm not saying make us something out of thin air and like it has to be serialized. But if they have it, they should totally do it because it works. Which they were probably nervous about doing it, considering it's went 14 seasons the other way, and they had clearly was working for them.
Yeah.
So the fact that they still take these risks and stuff like that is pretty exciting. And I hope they continue to take the risks for another 15 years, however long they end up running this show.
Yeah, I mean they have to keep evolving it somehow, and I think that this is a good way to do it, at least for now, and see where it goes. See if they can come up with some new creative stories.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on board, definitely. I'm just sad it's over for now.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess something else that's sad that's over is the 10 years of a lot of SNL cast members. After this
Great
past week's
segue.
episode. Yeah, that worked perfectly. But yeah, we've got the exit of Kate McKinnon, A.D. Bryant, Pete Davidson, and Kyle Mooney so far. Those are the 4 confirmed cast members to all leave. All of them have been on the show for 8+ years. So it seems like this is the beginning of the exodus for a lot of these longtime cast members. It's been very stable for like the past decade with like the people who've been on it. Some people don't like it. Some people like it. I was one that personally did like this cast a lot. So it's a bummer seeing a bunch of people leave. Obviously, it has to happen eventually. I think I'll be hit more when the Weekend Update crew leaves, just because they're like I guess like the linchpin of that show, and they are the ones who are really like themselves during it. But yeah, they're going to probably be gone, and I would imagine another year or so. Do you think anyone else is going to leave, Doug, during this off season? I didn't yet watch the final episode, so I don't know if they like alluded to anyone else leaving. Like they did like last year. I would have thought Cecily Strong was leaving based on like the way they treated
give her like
her.
a big exit.
Similar to the way like they had 80, Cecily, Kate, and Keenan open the episode. So I thought maybe it was possible all 4 of them were going to leave last year. Now 2 of them have left, or I guess Cecily wasn't one of those 4, but she had the big My Way show-stopping number in the Weekend Update. They made it seem like Pete was going to leave last year when he did like his usual correspondent episode.
I mean, they probably were going to leave, and then maybe they convinced Cecily to stick around just so that they didn't have so many people leave at once.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see any of the clips or hear anything about how people departed?
No.
Okay. Yeah,
I know, like Pete had his one last rap video and things like that, and Kate, like I guess she was the cold open, if I'm not mistaken. But I haven't actually like seen the clips or really read into it too much.
Okay. Yeah, I saw Kate's departure. It made sense the way they did it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna spoil it for you.
It was one of the alien skits, right?
Yeah, they did the alien sketch again, but
I read that.
Yeah. Which I don't hopefully I haven't watched the entire thing, but Natasha Lyonne didn't really love in that sketch.
No.
So I don't know how she is in the other sketches, but I didn't really love her. I mean, I don't know. There's something great about Gosling just like dying the entire time that was so great about the original.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a diminishing return type of skit. Yeah. Like it's never going to be as good as the first one, which is a thing with most SNL recurring bits. Like they're never as good as the first time.
Yeah. Same with the Mulaney.
The Broadway thing.
The Broadway one. It's been as good.
Yeah. I read Pete said, "I'll see you guys next year when Mulaney returns to host and for one of those musical numbers."
I mean, Pete's always been like in and out of that show. So he doesn't
he disappears to film something, especially the last few seasons.
So he never felt like a cast member. I think Kate and A.D. have both been kind of like in and out too recently, last year or two.
And then it's just been a fucking miracle that Kyle Mooney's been on the show as long as he has, because his stuff was always so out there. And like it would always be like one of the last segments of the night, like one of his things with Beck Bennett, and they would always just be so like strange and different from the rest of like the program. So I was really surprised he lasted as long as he did.
You think they pushed Kyle out?
No, I don't think they did. I think like he's doing another show, I think, on Netflix with Lorne Michaels. I think it was just like a miracle, like that his type of humor that he lasted as long as he did.
Yeah, I guess Lorne liked him.
Yeah,
that's the key.
Yeah. So do you think? I guess the 4 longest at this point are Keenan, obviously, Cecily, Colin, and Jay. Do you see any of them else leaving this summer, or do you see some like next year being the year?
I think probably next year would be the year. I think Cecily's definitely gone after next year. I don't know. I guess
I could see Colin leaving. at some point.
Yeah, Murph has Colin and Michael Che leaving next year. I don't know. It seems like a decent gig. I don't know why they would leave, or they have ambitions to do other stuff. I know Che does stand up, but what is Joe's doing?
Fucking Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
and doing movies like Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if he thinks he can have some sort of movie, TV career, he could leave, but I don't know. Are people chomping at the bit for Colin Jost?
Not really.
So, I don't know. But they do a lot of the writing on the show, don't they? Aren't they like head writers?
So it comes down if they want to continue, like it's a lot of work being a head writer at SNL. And like if your buddy leaves, like you might be more inclined to leave with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to be a package deal. Like if one leaves, the other one's going to leave.
Mm-hmm. I can't see Jost and with somebody else at this point.
Yeah.
Because him and Che are the longest running like co-anchors ever. I mean, I think Jost is the longest running anchor at this point, or will be this coming season. Like he'll pass Seth Meyers.
They're great though. Like you mentioned, they're definitely have become the highlight of the show.
Yeah, I know some people hate them, think they're too smarmy and their jokes are too soft, but I don't know. I think they're really funny together.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Keenan, he's never leaving.
Nope.
Or
he's a lifer.
He'll go till season 50. Him and Lauren will probably leave at the same time, is my guess.
And that's when that show just completely dies when Michael Lauren leaves.
Yeah, when Lauren's out, it's gonna be tough. I mean, it nearly died the last time he left. The only reason it didn't was Eddie Murphy. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens after season 50.
Yeah, I just can't imagine many people like Lauren that could keep that show afloat for. So it's not a show that should work for as long as it's worked.
No.
How much longer do we have until 50?
3 more seasons, I think.
Okay. Yeah. I was thinking 4. But...
Yeah, I think 48 will be this coming fall.
It's coming up.
Season 48 SNL. Yeah, 48 is this coming season. And yeah, when season 50 happens, it'll be like a fucking 5-hour, probably like a 2-night event on NBC, because that 40th anniversary special that they had was like 3+ hours and absolutely epic. So just wait till they have to do their 50th one.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
It'll be insane.
Yeah,
the amount of talent that'll be walking in that door, like to be there, would be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but yeah, we'll see how it transitions. Hopefully, I mean, we'll imagine. What cast members do you think are going to get bumped up?
I don't even remember who's that hasn't been bumped up at this point.
Yeah.
Who hasn't been bumped?
I guess James Austin Johnson.
He'll probably get. I mean, he's basically
been
bumped up.
He was bumped up in the first episode.
Yeah.
Sarah Sherman, a few other ones. Can't think of their name. Andrew.
They haven't really given the lower people. I don't remember what they call them. But they haven't really done a ton.
Players.
Yeah, so I
Jobbers.
don't feel like I've gotten a good taste of a lot of them, except for Austin. What's his name?
James Austin Johnson.
James Austin Johnson, who's been given he's basically the full cast member right now.
Maybe they'll push. I mean, the Please Don't Destroy guys were like the breakouts of the season outside of James Austin Johnson. Maybe they'll get more cracks at actually being cast members on the show.
Yeah, I mean they should have that Lonely Island place.
Yeah, they totally do have that Lonely Island place. But even Andy Samberg was a cast member. They're just 3 random dudes who get a skit or a sketch every week for some reason, because they're writers on the show. But yeah, they probably shouldn't bring on new cast members this year. They should build up the lower ones and give them a shot for a season.
Yeah, develop them.
Yeah, and then bring on new people next year after that when like a few more cast members leave.
Yeah, I mean, they only had so many cast members so that Kate and 80 and those people could go off and do their own thing and come back. So they really don't need to add.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Let's talk some trailers. I think we've got a few. We've got Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, She-Hulk, and Thor. Start with. We'll push Mission Impossible before our Top Gun talk. Let's talk the Marvel trailers. Well, do you think She-Hulk's graphics are going to CGI is going to improve a lot before the show airs, or?
So I keep hearing all the chatter is like
should.
The graphics are going to get better. And I was like, what are you guys basing this off of? Because every Marvel TV show that we've seen, the graphics look like shit.
No.
So like, why do people think that the graphics aren't finished? Like that, they're probably that's probably locked. That's probably it.
I think because people look at, they see first trailers for movies, and they in a lot of those situations, because there's a year until the movie comes out or 6 months, they're going to do a final pass. Marvel is not doing a final pass. They might now, but I still don't think it's going to look that much better. Like they're not going to spend. The main reason why Hulk looks good in that episode or in that trailer and she doesn't is because they're using the effects that they've already created from Endgame and all the other movies.
I didn't even think Hulk looked good. I thought he looked like a major downgrade from the movies.
I mean, he looked like a downgrade, but not as bad as her. Like you could tell that they're building her from scratch, and they're not going to spend the money that they spent on the movies to make her look in any way, good. She looks like a fucking cartoon character.
She does look like a cartoon character.
She looks like the Jolly Green Giant.
Like it's so bad.
Are we stuck with Professor Hulk now? Like, are we not getting Hulk again? I'm so sick of Professor Hulk.
I think for now, probably, and then
Hulk was so cool in Ragnarok, and now he's like. He's just like Mark Ruffalo.
This is how the stories work. They're gonna tease. They're gonna take him away for a while, and then all of a sudden, like they're gonna bring him back, and it's gonna be satisfying. Like 5 years from now. I don't know. 5 movies from now.
I hope so. I'm just. I don't like this. I don't like this Professor Hulk character. I'm over it.
Yeah, but he doesn't do too much for me either.
I mean,
the trailer didn't do much for me.
I like seeing Bruce and Hulk, like there being a clear difference between their personalities.
That's the whole point of the Hulk. Yeah. Like that's the
whole Jekyll and Hyde aspect of the character, and just having them be the same fucking personality the entire time and in complete control. Yeah, it's not as.
It's fun. Like you have Iron Man and it's just Tony Stark with no suit. Like the whole thing that makes him Iron Man is the suit. The whole thing that makes Hulk is like the Hulk character.
Yeah,
and the distinction between Bruce and Hulk, but so yeah, I don't know. I guess we have to blame the Russo brothers for even bringing that about.
True.
Yeah, I mean they could very easily figure out a way to bring him back, which they probably will eventually. But
yeah, I hope they do.
As far as She-Hulk goes, that trailer didn't really do much for me. It looks funny, but
it looks like their first outright comedy. Like more comedy than anything else, which is interesting. They do very well with comedies, like the comedic aspects of their films and TV shows. So I'm cool with them going all in on it.
I just know that if those special effects, if that's in any way like that, it's gonna kill for me. I'm not gonna be able to watch it. It's gonna be so distracting.
Yeah, I mean,
it just looks so bad.
So you don't think they're gonna fucking fix this like Sonic the Hedgehog or anything? Like they're just going.
I don't think there's enough time. The show comes out in 3 months?
Yeah,
2 months. There's not enough time to. There's not nearly enough time to, and they're not going to invest the money that they would need to make her drastically better. I mean, I think she'll look a little bit better, but that's the design of how she's gonna be.
It's not a movie.
I mean,
where
it is
you
Marvel
just sink
and
a bunch of
Disney.
money.
They can pay the money if they need.
Oh
it to.
yeah, but
They're not
are they
going
gonna?
to.
But are they gonna do that for this? No, they're not.
It's a
I don't know.
streaming show. It's not like a movie
Yeah,
that's going
I
to
don't.
come out. They're not making any money. They're just trying to keep
I
whoever
mean, it
subscribes.
hurts.
I don't think
It
so.
hurts the brand though. Like
It
if
does.
everyone's shitting on it, like that's not something they need.
But
like-
people shit on a lot of the other shows, like for different reasons. You know.
I guess
I mean, I think all the
to a degree.
all-
There was
most
nothing
of
on
those
face
shows-
level that people were shitting on.
No, that's true. And this would be
Like
definitely.
pre-release shitting on. We
Yeah.
haven't seen yet. There's nothing you could do. Like if the story isn't that great, like it is what it is. Like there's been Marvel movies where the story wasn't that great.
I also think that a lot of it is that the way that they decided to make her look like emoting, like clearly it's Tatiana Maslany, like,
Yeah.
you know, emoting, you know, behind, you know, the CG. It literally looks like they just superimposed like her face onto this like Jolly Green Giant cartoon. And it just doesn't look good. Like, I don't know how they fixed that in 2 months.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
I don't see
That's
how
a-
anyone has faith that these CGI is going to be better if they watched Hawkeye and Moon
Yeah.
Knight, because I mean the
It's
CGI
just-
was trash in those
Moon,
shows.
and I thought Moon Knight was bad, but that
It's
was
just
like
bad
that was
when you're-
bad.
You're hinging your entire show. Like the entire main character is based on
Yeah.
how she looks. Like
Yeah.
how do you not fucking invest in like making it look good? Like that should be the first thing you focus on. I get with like in Moon Knight, you like don't go big and with your spending on certain action scenes. You just don't show them in trailers and shit
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But like this, she's at the forefront of everything.
Yeah.
So like, fucking make it look good.
Yeah, it's concerning. I don't know. I'm with Doug. I don't think that they're gonna have
Hopefully
enough
they
time.
just rushed the trailer together in because they needed something to show the investors.
Could be right. Yeah. Maybe it does, she
or
doesn't even
show-
look like that
or-
right now.
To show for the upfront people, the advertisers. I don't know, but I mean, yeah, it could be the final thing, and they are like whatever. People are gonna watch anyway. It's Marvel, like who cares? But I mean, it would be unfortunate. And then like, really, why are we wasting our time watching these fucking shows if that's gonna be the approach that they take?
Well, because the whole thing, like Feige he said like a long time ago, and multiple people in Marvel said, "Oh, the Marvel shows are going to be on the same level as the movies. We're going to use the same effects, the same cameras, the same this and that. There's not going to be any difference." Well, you know what? You guys are lying because
Yeah,
there's
that
fucking
was a lie.
differences, a lot of differences, to the point where I don't even want to watch the shows anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, these shows have tarnished Marvel's brand.
And the episodes are not the same length, and that bothers the fuck out of me.
You're never gonna get over the episode.
No,
lengths
it bothers
of Disney
me.
Plus shows.
Fucking hate it. Oh yeah,
Well,
it's not.
just wait.
It's not just Marvel. It's all Disney.
Yeah,
Plus.
it's all Disney Plus. Just wait till Friday when Obi-Wan's first 2 episodes. They're probably like 50 minutes and 25 minutes.
And then the rest of them are going to be like 15 minutes each.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan walking,
the
episode 3.
super short 30-something minute episodes is kind of annoying. I'm actually excited about Stranger Things and that it's going to be like the opposite.
So
They're
They're going to be like
yeah,
they're gonna be
They're
so
so-
bloated.
I know.
supposedly it's not. I mean, I read a review for the first part and they were like, it's not bloated at all. It's tight.
Yeah.
But like
I read
every
that
episode's
too.
an hour, and then the last episode of the first part is like 2 hours or something crazy.
Yeah.
The ones in July are like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I think the last part is like close to 3 hours. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
I read one headline. It was like, "There's a really good show in here. There's also a really bad show in here because it's really fucking long."
There was one other thought that I wanted to make regarding the Disney Plus shows. Oh, so if you're gonna do different length episodes, do the shorter ones first instead of the longer ones first, because then it really, really feels off kilter. Like you're amping people up, you're pulling people in, and then all of a sudden you just shit out these 30-minute episodes for, the latter half of the season. and it's just obnoxious.
Yeah, where it feels like they have a lot of story to tell, and then it just ends like with the shortest episode of the
Like
season.
Moon Knight.
Probably not the best decision.
Moon Knight. Oh my God, that killed me. So
especially because then people look back at the earlier episodes and complain that they spent so much time on these early ones when, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
just
what
giving people more to nitpick.
Yeah, they need to get a TV, somebody that's like lives and breathes TV to like help them figure out how to do a TV show, because they don't get it.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money there, Doug. I think like they have all these people that are familiar with making movies, and they're basically making movies and then just cutting them in the best way that they see fit to fit the 6 or 8 episode season. They need to bring in someone who is a TV person, TV producer, creator, whatever, and balance these shows out. I'm going to step off my soapbox.
Yeah.
Bring back Jeff Loeb.
Yeah.
The Netflix shows were better.
And
they were better.
They were. What was his name?
They're doing a. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just trying to think of the creator of Daredevil. I forgot his name, but
yeah, I don't remember his name either. No, I was gonna say like they're doing they already said they're doing a Daredevil show.
Yeah, which scares me.
It's not going to be anywhere near as good as the other Netflix Daredevil. It's not going to be.
I've realized that over the past couple weeks that it's definitely going to be.
They're not even going to attempt to do a TVMA version, even though they have the TVMA version of the rest of the show on their fucking platform.
No,
it'll be some sanitized fucking bullshit.
Yep.
I think the only thing they're really going to go OR on is Deadpool, because they know like people will like have a complete shit fit if they if they go like with a watered down version.
Yeah, they can't. They have to do that. People will lose their damn minds.
But yeah, they're going to go for their usual demo of getting as many eyeballs on, no matter what the ages are for Daredevil.
Although I think people will probably be very vocal about Daredevil if they do that. But we'll see.
Yeah, to an extent they will.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah. But how about Thor: Love and Thunder? We got our second look of that. I've watched the trailer a bunch of times now. I'm kind of liking it a little bit more the more I watch it. But yeah, this one didn't pull me in like Ragnarok's trailers did.
Yeah, I liked it, but it was definitely what didn't have the glitz and the glamour that the Ragnarok trailer had. I was more excited to just finally see Christian Bale for like a few seconds, because he was practicing his method acting on the moon, bleached his skin white to get ready to play Gore, because that's what he does with his method acting. But yeah, no, I thought it was fun. I'm really excited about Russell Crowe. He looks like he's gonna be like hilarious.
Russell Crowe, like when you let him have a good time, when you let him go fully unhinged, he's fucking entertaining as fuck.
Yeah. I think he's probably going to steal the show in a lot of ways.
That was a plug for the movie Unhinged starring Russell Crowe.
Yep.
So he's going to be fun. And it seems like he'll be in a decent amount of the movie. His name's on the poster.
Yeah, I was shocked about that. I did not realize that he was actually billed on the poster.
Yeah, I thought he was just going to be a cameo.
Yeah, I thought Gore was going to just like kill him right away.
Even Taika's name is on the poster this time.
Yeah.
As an actor. So Korg will definitely be in a lot of this movie.
Do we think that we're going to have our first MCU uncensored ass?
No.
Or do you think that's going to be censored?
It'll probably be censored.
I don't know. It might happen. That'd be funny if they did that.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like this movie will actually like.
I could see Taika doing that. Yeah.
Thor is like really the only series that have acknowledged that sex is like a thing.
Yeah, that's true.
In the world. I mean, Eternals did also.
Yeah.
And She-Hulk's definitely going to. But otherwise, they've been like
they don't even that guy.
Yeah, they don't even like show kisses in fucking MCU.
I never even thought about that, but yeah, you're right.
It is like the most fucking prude series in the world, with the exception of like those ones we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll have an ass in it.
I immediately thought, I was like, oh, I could see Taika, like, he's going to censor it for TV and like for advertisements, but like in the movie, like we'll just see his bare ass for like a second.
Yeah.
Hemsworth is jacked out of his mind in this
In
movie.
this-
I
He was preparing for the Hulk Hogan movie.
yeah, I cannot
It's
believe
ridiculous how big he got for that, though.
there's muscles on him I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
He went from
It's-
dad bod to god bod. Yeah, he looks fucking huge.
Yeah. Natalie Portman looks big too.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can tell, like,
looks like she did a lot of work
bulked
at the gym.
Yeah.
The stuff with her looks fun. Those two had really good chemistry in both
Mhm.
movies, so I'm cool with seeing them back together again. Tessa Thompson looks fun, as like basically like the commentary for like everyone in the audience watching.
I think this trailer solidified that. I think you might have said this, Murph, that the Guardians are probably going to be in it for like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, they're gonna no more than a fifth of the movie. They will be
Yeah.
gone by like 25 minutes
Yeah.
into the film. Yeah, they were barely in this trailer at all. They'll be in probably like 2 scenes.
hmm
Maybe Deadpool will show up in this one because Korg and Deadpool had that scene together when they were promoting.
Oh yeah, that's a good
When they were
point.
promoting Free Guy.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds and Taika have worked together on Free Guy and clearly on that marketing piece.
Maybe an
where
after credit scene.
Yeah, I could see maybe that being the first appearance of Deadpool this time.
That'd be neat.
That would be neat. Yeah.
But yeah, it looks.
Not going to get
it
too
looks
excited
fun.
for it because every time we think something's going to happen
Yeah.
in this phase, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But it'd be fun. It would be a lot of fun having Ryan Reynolds in Taika's world.
Yeah,
But
I think the movie looks fun. I hope it's. I hope the overall story is less like just a fun ride, and like I want to have fun, but I hope there's like an interesting story that's engaging. I think there is. I think they're hiding
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I think so
'Cause,
too.
Like there's Natalie Portman's character supposedly has cancer.
Yep.
And her becoming Lady Thor like makes her cancer worse. So I imagine that's not going to be all jokes the entire time. I imagine that's going to be a serious element. And then you've got Gore like going around killing the gods. So, yeah, I imagine they're hiding a lot of the actual story and just kind of giving us the fun, goofy stuff.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. Which is kind of their MO. I mean, they've done it before with the trailers where, you go in, they kind of force you to go in blind if you go in the first weekend when it opens.
What do you guys think of that?
No.
The new the new Thor suit that he wears with the giant ass helmet.
I think it's awesome. It's classic. It looks ridiculous, but
It looks
I mean,
ridiculous. I'm guessing it's supposed to look ridiculous, but it
Yeah.
looks really, really. Especially like I thought it looked a little ridiculous before the helmet came on. And now with the helmet, it's just like it's so goofy.
yeah.
yeah, I didn't really have any thoughts about it, to be honest. I'll have to go back and look at it.
Yeah, it's when he like first encounters Jane,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and he's like, "How long's it been? 3, 4 years?"
That was funny.
Or that's what she said, 3 or
Was it?
4 years, and he was like,
8 years, 4 months, 7 days. Who's got it? Which makes sense that it would take a super long amount of time for him to get over a breakup because he's been alive for like fucking hundreds of years.
hmm
So like it would take way longer than him to get over something than like a normal person, which I thought was pretty clever.
I don't even
What?
remember how like him and Jane ended.
They didn't talk about it. It just
They
kind of
made a reference
yeah, that was it.
in like Infinity War or
Yeah.
something like that,
It was just like written to the script.
or maybe it was Ultron. They made a reference.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just a passing reference. Maybe it was Ragnarok. I don't know. One of those movies they did. But yeah, it's been a long time since she's been around. All right. And then since we are going to hold off on Top Gun until Doug sees it, we can talk about the trailer for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. The latest movie where Tom Cruise attempts to kill himself on screen and somehow makes it out alive. What did you guys think?
I thought it looked fun. I wanted to ask one question. The stunt that he tries to kill himself when basically in this one is the bike stunt
Yeah.
right
The
at the
bike
end.
thing at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That was I remember us talking about it, but I didn't remember what the stunt exactly was. They showed like
Yep.
a picture of the ramp.
That's
Yeah,
the one.
that's insane. But yeah, I mean it looks fun. It looks like Mission Impossible. It's Haley Atwell. I didn't actually realize that she was going to be in the movie, so that was like a cool surprise. And it's cool to see the regular cast back. I'm definitely really excited.
Yeah, it's got a murderer's row of like female talent in this one, like just badasses with Rebecca Ferguson, Haley Atwell, Vanessa Kirby, and Palm Clementif.
Yeah.
And then like you said, the regulars like Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, all them back. God, I can't fucking wait. I just love this series. This like now that Daniel Craig's done with Bond, like this is like the Bond like series. Like you're not getting better like real life action than the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah. They do like the car chases and the action scenes are just always so like realistic, so well done in these movies.
The only thing I'll say about the trailer is I actually thought it was kind of a crappy trailer. I thought the way the scenes were cut together and like the music in the background, it just didn't do anything for me. I think you could tell from the footage that it's a really well shot movie and there's going to be a lot of awesome scenes in it. But like whoever put together the trailer, in my opinion, just dropped the ball. I thought like you didn't really hear like the Mission Impossible music. It was kind of like sort of there,
like
but,
at the very end, it was sort of there.
Yeah,
it felt like more. It felt more like a James Bond trailer to me than a Mission Impossible trailer.
Yeah, I could see that.
It just felt like a cut of scenes of like just like random cuts of scenes of a movie. It didn't feel like a cohesive trailer to me at all.
But I mean, I guess it's a teaser trailer. It was long for a teaser trailer, but the movie doesn't come out for another 14 months.
Yeah.
So we're probably not going to get another trailer until like December of this year, probably with Avatar.
Are they done? Are they done filming? Like, is it like completely wrapped at this point? This one?
Part one is, yeah.
Okay.
And I know like they're not going like if part two has delays, like they're not going to put out part one until part two is fully done filming, like Tom Cruise has said, because he's like people are going to need to see part two like fairly soon after part one, or they'll fucking lose their minds.
So
they need to know like part two is done before part one can come out.
So part one right now is supposed to come out in July, and then part two comes out at the end of the next year. Is that how they're doing it?
The following June, I believe.
Oh God!
June 2024.
I mean, that's still a long time. I thought it was coming up by the end of the year. It was like a 6-month gap or something.
No, I mean for Mission Impossible standards, it might as well be fucking like a day later because their gaps have been so long.
Mm-hmm.
Like the average between these films is like 4 years. They have not ever followed the like 1 year, 2 year. They've only once has there been a 3-year gap between a Mission Impossible film. They always are long.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we're getting 2 back to back is pretty wild. But
yeah,
I mean, it seems like it's going to be the finale for Tom Cruise and the franchise. But yeah, I would agree with you. I did think the music was a little off for a Mission Impossible trailer. But I did love the throwbacks to like the first movie, the first trailer, where you have Henry. I don't know how to pronounce the dude's last name, so I'll just say Kittredge's character.
Mm-hmm.
You have him like giving his monologue, talking across the table from Ethan. I thought that was really cool. Then you have another fight on top of a locomotive, which is basically how it was the climactic scene from the first Mission Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So they're having a lot of throwbacks to the first film. It's really just cool how the franchise like has really went all in on its continuity after really not having much continuity at all in the first like 3-4 movies.
Yeah. I'm very excited.
Yeah, we'll see.
I want to rewatch all the other ones now.
But I think we all agree it looks like it's going to be a good movie. I was just a
Yeah.
little not crazy about the teaser.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very consistent franchise at this point, and especially now that it's got Christopher McQuarrie like shepherding the whole thing ever since Rogue Nation. So I see no reason why it won't be very enjoyable. And I'm really excited to see how it looks on the big screen with Top Gun.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
All right, and then let's get into our last film for the night, which we'll give some thoughts about, and that was Alex Garland's Men. Corey and I saw this one. Really fucking weird movie. Very strange. Not something that I would recommend to people, just because it's unlikely many people will enjoy it. But it stars Jesse Buckley and Roy Kinnear. They're basically the only performers in the movie. Roy Kinnear plays basically every male character in the film, and I don't know. It's just like one of those. It's an artsy fartsy A24 horror movie. It's super ambiguous in what's actually going on. The ending leaves a lot to be desired. Corey and I both thought that the fact it was a very slow burn, like that it was very strong for the majority of it, but then the ending just the ending's just gross. It's disgusting, and it just was unsatisfying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was definitely really gross, and it carried on for too long, and there definitely wasn't not even enough of a satisfying ending. There was no satisfying ending at all. Like, it was just completely open to interpretation, and it ruined the whole movie. Like, somehow, like, it just completely ruined like anything about the movie that happened prior, because there were really strong scenes and the story was interesting. It was shot really well. I mean, if you've seen any of his movies are shot really well. But I think we all agreed like the movie was pretty engaging up until like the last like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird, like it was artsy fartsy, but it still kept our attention. Like I said, the acting was really, really strong in all the scenes. And then it went way too far off the rails. And I usually like these types of movies, and it was like way too far off the rails for me.
Yeah, they
Like,
shot themselves in the foot with that ending.
yeah.
There's 5 of us, and all of us kind of like shared the same opinion.
Yeah, which was shocking. But
the person like next to me, like 5 minutes into that like 15-minute finale, or maybe 10 minutes into that 15-minute finale, was like, all right, I've had enough now. Like, it was just too much.
Yeah.
But we did talk about it for a lot after seeing it, which was not something we do that often with movies. So I don't know. It had that going for it, I guess.
It was thought provoking, like, because of the way that it ended, and just, I guess, the way that the story was told. But I mean, it didn't have any type of satisfying ending. So like, as an audience member, it's like, why the fuck am I watching this? Like,
Yeah.
Why? I mean, some people like movies that, like that, like they want to, keep everything open to interpretation, but I need to have something.
For sure.
And yeah, so it was disappointing. This one has stuck with me because I was really looking forward to it, and like, just really, really, really disappointing to me.
Yeah, so we will be getting more A24 horror movies later this year, so we'll talk about those when they come. I think Bodies might be the next one. But hopefully
that one looks fun.
Yeah, that looks like very much the opposite of this. So we'll talk about that one when it comes. Let's wrap things up with the box office pool, and then that's all we got left for today. So as far as the summer box office pool goes, Doug is still far and away ahead in the lead. He's got $343 million, all on the back of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Meanwhile, I'm all the way back in second place with $23 million, and Corey has $3 million. Corey had Men, and I had Firestarter and Down Abbey, A New Era. So both of them, Firestarter basically bombed, along with Men, which basically bombed, and Down Abbey underperformed. So no real surprises, I would say. Everything's sort of going according to plan so far. As far as Doctor Strange's box office goes, kind of went into free fall in weekend 2. Had a fall similar to Black Widow, like what was it, 73%, something like that, something you never want to see. But then it recovered like considerably. I'd say in the third weekend, it only had a 50% drop, which again isn't great for a third weekend. You prefer to be somewhere between like 30 and 45, preferably 30, 40. But after dropping 70-something%, 50 is much better in comparison. But I'd say its box office is getting close to wrapping up. It's probably got the holiday weekend, and then that one's pretty much done. It's really going to be.
It's got another 50 million potentially in the tank.
You think that much? Yeah.
I think it could get close to 400.
Yeah, we'll get close to 400, but most of the close to 400 is going to come this coming weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
If it continues falling at 50%, then like this weekend it won't fall 50% because that's the holiday. So that's going to make it recover pretty nicely because Sunday will play like a Saturday, and then it'll also have decent grosses on Monday. Yeah. But the weekend after the holiday, it should fall pretty hard. And at that point, like Jurassic Park is pretty much coming out, and it's over. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how Top Gun does this coming weekend. I have Top Gun this week. Corey, you have the Bob's Burgers movie this coming weekend as well.
It's getting good reviews.
Bob's Burgers?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and there's a lot of like diehard fans, so it'll be interesting to see how that one performs. It's the first of your many comedies, or first of your many animated
films.
Yeah. This summer. And yeah, we were talking. It looks like Top Gun. You said Variety's predicting 130 million for the 4-day.
Up to 130.
Up to 130.
That's crazy.
100 for up to 100 for the weekend. The real weekend, and then the 4-day up to 130.
And this is the type of movie that is going to be leggy based on its reviews, based on the types of audiences it's looking at. So if this makes 100-something million, let's make 130 million, I'm going to be sitting pretty with this box office over the next month. I mean, this and Jurassic Park both have that kind of like old school audiences, so they'll kind of they're going to compete with one another. But Top Gun should be leggy. So maybe I'll get like a 300 million out of that, which I never would have predicted when I picked this movie a few weeks ago.
No.
Yeah, that could be the difference maker for you, and winning this again would be Top Gun. If it can bring you 300 million, that's huge.
I'm definitely kicking myself for not taking that, but what can you do?
Yeah, exactly.
Could not have foreseen this.
Thought it was going to make this money. So I think it has to make the money. I mean, right now it's still just predictions. So we'll see what happens after this coming weekend. Anything else box office wise you guys want to talk about?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Then, as we mentioned, we will talk about Top Gun Maverick on our next episode. That is all we have for today. So thank you again for listening. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, along with Twitch and YouTube, everything like that. But as always, this has been Corey, Doug, and Murph at Live Breathe Film. We'll see you again next time, film fans.
Bye.